All right, welcome in. My name is Coach Hoppa from the djcoach.com. I'm excited today to be able to talk about streaming services. And we are not just talking about streaming service in general, we are talking about streaming services for DJs specifically. And as we get into this, today we're going to cover the four major ones that exist that probably are a bit more household names than Beatport or BeatSource, which are very specific to the DJ world. So we're not going to cover those today. We may do that in a different video. Today, though, we're going to be talking about Apple Music, Tidal, SoundCloud Go Plus, and the new player to come into the DJ space, which is the biggest streaming service out there, called Spotify. Yes, that is right. You can now use Spotify to actually DJ with. But before we get started, I do want to make sure that I make it very, very clear as to what some of the limitations are to streaming in general. Today, we're going to talk about these four different streaming services, and I'm going to give you my opinion on which one I like best out of all of them. And of course, I would love to hear your opinion as well. So make sure to put a comment below. I'd love to know what streaming service you're using. Are you happy with it? Are there other ones you're considering? Is there anything I missed here today? Make sure to let us know in the comments. So today, before we get started and we compare these services, I first want to talk about streaming in general. So as a DJ, I've been a pro DJ since the 90s. So back then we were vinyl records. Then it became CDs. Then we got into Napster and downloading MP3s illegally. And then also like using the iTunes store and actually paying $1.29 for songs. So they used to be 99 cents. But then they made them $1.29 and like we were buying songs off of that. And then digital record pools became available, which we'll talk about in another video as well. But now we're in a space where streaming is really what most people are using to listen to music, just in general. I know that's the case for me. Like I don't go into my car and bring my CD collection and pop a CD into my car. They used to have, I don't know if you some of you might remember this, like there was actually a some cars, my old car stereo used to have a thing in the back in the trunk, and it had a little magazine, and you could actually put multiple CDs into it, and you could pop it in. And it was I had a 6 disc changer in my car, and it was the best because then you weren't stuck to just one CD and having to take one CD in and out. I know, I'm old. I'm old. But there's good things about that, you know. Some of that is coming back, by the way. Anyways, what happens a lot, and I see this a lot because we teach and coach quite a lot of beginner DJs. So you go out, you buy a new DDJ Flex 4. You come home, you take it out of the box, you're trying to figure out how to use it. Maybe you go to YouTube, maybe you go somewhere else, and then you discover, oh, instead of just learning in this random way, let me actually follow somebody who's giving me a step by step. This is what I do, A, B, C, D, which you can find at thedjcoach.com. I got to plug our own stuff. Go to thedjcoach.com. Take one of our courses. Get enrolled in one of the things that we have. If you like this, if you like how we're learning this way, you'll love what we have at the DJ Coach, including we even have a Pro DJ certification that we've recently launched. Anyways, I'll see you over there at another time. In this, though, you now open this box up, and now you download the software. You get this on a computer or on your phone or your tablet. You're going to use that to DJ with. And then you realize, I don't have any music. Because as a regular consumer, you haven't been just downloading MP3s for the last several years with the intent of then this becoming your DJ collection. You just haven't been doing it. So now, as you're trying to figure out music, you open up your software and you realize, aha, streaming. I recognize that logo. That's the Apple Music logo. That's the Spotify logo. Okay. Click. Oh, connect my account? Okay, this is great. Oh, how awesome. Connect my account. Wow. All of my playlists even have come in. Oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And look, I'm not shutting this down because I use some of the streaming services too. But I want you to hear me when I'm saying this to you. My advice to you is that your primary source of music is not the streaming service. I'm going to say it again. Your primary source of music to DJ with cannot be your streaming service, especially if you're wanting to go out and start DJing. whether that's for money, whether that's for clout, whether that's for just to have a great time and to be able to DJ for somebody's birthday party, whatever. You cannot rely on the streaming services in that case. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Number one, Wi Fi. Huge one. At this moment in time, we need Wi Fi in order to use the streaming services. We can't use them in offline mode. So I know what you're saying, but coach, you can download the tracks from Spotify. I've done that before too. When I'm on a plane, sometimes before the plane ride, I'll hit download and it'll download that whole playlist onto my actual phone so that I can listen to that playlist while I'm 30,000 feet in the air listening to music, right? Without having to worry about Wi-Fi or the internet or anything like that. Yes. However, that does not integrate into our DJ software right now. That's not a possibility at this moment in time. And it likely won't be for a little bit. Maybe in the future. I hope so. But for right now, that's not a possibility. So now when I'm saying yes to that gig, what do I do if when I show up to that gig, maybe I'm showing up to open decks? Somebody has told me that in my area there's an open decks. I said, yes, I'm in. I sign my name up. I show up to the venue. I have my playlist ready to go from Spotify. It's in there. It's in Serato. It's ready to go. I show up to the venue. Guys, do you have the Wi-Fi password? No? Nobody has it? Ah. Well, it's a good thing I've got my phone and I can hotspot. Hotspot. Oh, man. This is taking forever. This is taking forever to load in. In fact, actually, this is a real-world scenario. This past weekend, I DJ'd an event. There was a request that came through, which I don't know if I should be proud of this or not proud of this. A song request came through for me to play. It was supposed to be an 80s thing, or like very heavy on the 80s side of things. So I'm playing mostly 80s music. It's a vibe. Like I'm killing it. It's great. People are giving me thumbs up the whole night. And then somebody comes up to me and really, really nice, sweet lady, and was just like, could you please play The Wobble? I'll be honest with you guys. I hate that song. But so I don't own it. I don't have it. I don't have it in my library. I thought maybe I did because I probably played it at some point in time. Nope, I don't. So I had to log in. I logged into my Tidal account in that moment. I'm waiting for this to load. It took 2.5 minutes. Almost the entire song. Like the other track was playing on deck A. And luckily I loaded The Wobble into the deck B. But it was loading and it was so dang slow. It was taking forever to load in. 2.5 minutes. I'm literally watching this thing. I'm like, please, 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 come on. Faster, faster. The other song is starting to run out. I thought I was going to have to reload a new song on deck A just to kind of keep it moving. But thankfully it worked out just in the nick of time. I think I maybe had like 10 seconds to spare. But this is a problem. This is a real problem. Like, we cannot have that. The second reason, though, why I don't want you to rely on streaming services as your main source for music is because now you're going to get locked into that streaming service. So all of the hot cues, everything that you build for those tracks, that will then be dependent on you still having an active subscription. If you don't have an active subscription, you don't have access to the music and you don't have access to those hot cues. You don't have access to the loops that you've set. You don't have any of that information. All of that is gone. So it's really smart on their behalf because it'll keep you there. But those strings that are there, those are real. And so I just want to make sure that you know that so that you can make a good decision. Now, what I would recommend for everybody that I coach, here's what I would recommend. At the maximum, 20% of your library should come from streaming. Maximum. That means 80% of your library should be on your actual hard drive, downloaded to your computer as an MP3 or a WAV file, downloaded onto your computer, ready to rock, no matter where you're at, no matter what the Wi-Fi situation is, no matter what is happening, you're ready to go, right? And the nice thing is, once you've downloaded the music, even if you've downloaded it from a place like a record pool, which also has a subscription, once you've downloaded those tracks, they're on your hard drive. If you cut off your record pool subscription, you still have those tracks. In fact, I even have tracks from 20 years ago that still have the hot cues on them from 20 years ago, which some of those maybe need to be changed, but you know what I mean? Like, I still have all that music. Anyways, hopefully that helps. Now, this is especially important if you believe that you want to become a pro DJ at some point, or you want to be DJing out in front of people, which I would highly recommend to all of you. You know, why put a ceiling on where this could go? You know, you start getting good at this, and you're going to get these offers to want to play out. Now, you don't have to say yes to those, but why not? Why not be able to show up somewhere and DJ somebody's special day, or be able to provide the musical soundtrack in the middle of your town somewhere, you know, for the fall festival or for this thing that's happening? Why not? Why not? Like, you got into this because you love music and you love the idea of being able to spread this to other people. That would be amazing, right? So try to think about that in this stage. Now, today's video though is not about streaming or not. Today's video is about streaming. I'm going to stream. Maybe 20% of my library is going to be streamed. So based off that 20%, I've got a lot of options. Which one do I choose? The fact that Spotify has recently been announced, you know, maybe I just go with Spotify. It's the most popular one. Maybe that's what I end up doing. I already pay a Spotify premium. Let's just roll with that. But I want to break down for you what some of the pros and cons are about these four: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, and SoundCloud Go Plus. You ready? Let's jump in. All right, I've got this handy little chart here. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to talk about a couple of different categories when it comes to some of these streaming services. So again, we're talking about the four most popular ones that are out there and that also integrate into most DJ softwares. When it comes to DJ software in terms of integration, pretty much all of these integrate except for the exception of like Spotify when it comes to mobile right now. That could change. I feel like it will change in the next probably couple of months. So at the time of recording this, that's not a possibility, but I feel like that will be available shortly here. All right, so let's break these down. Okay, so when it comes to offline, none of them will work offline. There is no version of an offline save. That is not possible. Now, again, I was mentioning that about downloading. When you download those tracks, they can only be opened up inside of the actual app itself. So inside of Spotify, I can hear it, or inside of Apple Music, I can hear it, but I can't integrate it into my actual DJ software. So that is, I know that's a little bit confusing, but that is true. The next category that I want to talk about is stems. So when it comes to stem separation, we talk about live stem separation. This is not possible on any of the streaming services except for Tidal, which is one of the reasons why I'm still going to hold on to my Tidal. Talk about that later. And then the last one is recording sets. So you cannot record on any of these. If you're streaming, a part of the requirement and the agreement that they have with the labels is that you cannot actually stream. So streaming, you cannot actually record if you're streaming. So they've disabled recording inside of the software. Now, that doesn't mean that you still can't record. There's a workaround, but I can't talk about it here. All right, so for what it's worth, you cannot record your sets. And then I guess the last thing we should talk about is also the cost. So the cost is pretty consistent, to be honest, across the board. However, Tidal is the most expensive. They are requiring you to have an extra DJ extension that you need to pay for. Another thing that I will throw out there, though, is that many of these streaming services actually have student discounts as well. So if you are a high school or a college student, or you can prove that you have some type of EDU address or whatnot, you would be able to qualify for a student discount. Unfortunately, at this stage, right now, we don't have a student discount yet. I'm working on something. Hopefully, we'll be able to get something going where our students can actually get a student discount on some of these streaming services. But at the moment, we don't have that quite yet. So here's my pick. Ready? Here's my pick. I would recommend Tidal. I know it's the most expensive one, but the fact that it has stem separation gives it a leg up from the rest of the competition. If you are DJing off of a laptop, Tidal, and and you use stems, if you're DJing off a laptop and you're using stems, Tidal is fantastic because it'll feel just like any of your other MP3s. It also sounds better than some of the other streaming services that are out there. So there's that part. You're actually streaming at a higher quality. So what I tend to find is when I load up a song on Tidal and I'm playing it against a high quality MP3, I can't hear the difference at all. That isn't necessarily the case with some of the other ones. I will say this though, I don't think they're necessarily mutually exclusive. You can have multiple accounts. I'd also encourage you to maybe try out these different accounts. You might find that some of the music that's actually offered on SoundCloud Go Plus is great, and you like that. You like seeing some of these underground remixes and things like that that you would typically not get inside a Tidal. So I personally use Tidal for more of like requests that are coming through. I thought when the announcement would come through for Spotify, I was like, okay, I'm done with Tidal, but I just can't let go of the stems, to be honest with you. So that's where I'm currently at. Things might change. I'd love to know what your opinion is. Make sure to put it in the comments. I know I broke down a couple of things here today. If you're interested in learning more, make sure to head on over to thedjcoach.com. Make sure you also subscribe to this channel. We've got more content on its way. Thank you for watching this. We'll see you next time.